Hello, my brothers and sisters. The people in Liberia took to the street to protest corruption in the country. Liberia is one of the most corrupt countries in Africa. It is also one of the most poor countries in Africa. And Liberia has had a very, very dangerous past. The country has blood in its hand. Many people have fought each other in Liberia. As a matter of fact, people still have vivid memories of the civil war that took place in Liberia. Many people haven't forgotten. The scars are still wide visible. So, when George Weah came in, people were very happy. People saw it as a sign of hope, as a new beginning. He was young. He was popular. He was one of Africa's best footballers. And people in Liberia had high hopes for him. But they are finding out that corruption is still in the country, and corruption is making things really, really difficult. So before we continue, please watch this video.
In Liberia's capital, Monrovia, a march to sweep corruption out of the country. Hundreds of people gathered with brooms in their hands for a small protest against a big problem. Corruption is everywhere, says Esther Thompson. She says she has to pay bribes to get her children in school, to get money out of her bank account, or even to get a job. But it's even worse in government.
In the House of Senate, in the House of Representatives, in government, that's where corruption is.
In August, 3 senior figures of Weah's government were suspended after the U.S. Treasury imposed sanctions against them. The president's chief of staff is accused of corruption and directing warlords to threaten political rivals. The managing director of the Port Authority is accused of funneling money into private accounts. And the state solicitor general is accused of shielding suspected criminals, blocking investigations into government corruption. The government denies any wrongdoing.
That those sanctions were not because of the government, was not targeted at the president. So if people are using these things to gain political relevance, well, we're in a democracy. Our citizens are allowed to protest and do as they feel. But the truth is that we've done more as a government than any other administration in trying to fight graft in the public space.
These protesters are marching not towards the presidential palace or parliament, but towards the U.S. Embassy. They're hoping the U.S. can do what their government has failed to, arrest and prosecute those stealing public funds.
So, my brothers and sisters, Liberians are sweeping corruption away from the country. They are protesting corruption in the system. And you know, corruption has always been Africa's greatest enemy. Most African countries are so corrupt. The leadership is the worst. The leaders are embezzling all state funds, and nothing is being done to them. I know corruption is everywhere. I know corruption is in Thailand. Thai politicians are corrupt, allegedly. Chinese politicians are corrupt, allegedly. Even American politicians are corrupt, allegedly. But the difference between these countries can be clearly seen. even though China is corrupt, but the leaders do things for the common people. The country moves ahead. There is development, there is growth, there is progress. Thailand is corrupt. There is corruption in Thailand. But the leaders fix the country. There are a lot of good things in Thailand. There are nice roads for people to drive on. There is infrastructure. There is good education. There are hospitals. There is a working health system. Africa is a totally different story. The leaders are corrupt. They are super corrupt. And what that really gets me confused about our leaders in Africa is, don't they travel around the world and see what other leaders are doing for their countries? Don't they see all the nice roads when they travel to China? Don't they see all the nice buildings when they travel to Singapore? Why can't they do the same for their countries? Why can they not fix their countries? Why do they keep on embezzling state funds? It is a very confusing thing. So my brothers and sisters in Liberia, please do not relent your effort. If there's one thing that African leaders take seriously, is protest and resistance. When you tell them something in a calm and peaceful way, they don't take it seriously. They don't even give you a listening ear. But when you protest, then they listen. So, my fellow Liberians, keep your protests going. Keep your resistance going. The leaders are answerable to the people. The leaders are accountable to the people. So my brothers and sisters in Liberia, keep going and let your leadership listen to you. So to all of you guys in Africa, how is corruption in your country? If you were to rate corruption on a scale of 1 to 4, with 1 being the lowest and 4 being the highest, what would it be? Share your thoughts and opinions with us in the comment section. Like always, we love hearing from you. And please, if you came across any story on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, or on Instagram, and you thought it is worth sharing with the rest of the world, please send it our way, and we shall talk about them on this show. And you can also support us with $1 or more through the crowdfunding website Patreon, or through our personal PayPal account. And we shall appreciate it so much. So thank you very much, and see you in the next one.